Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Miss Maina as our lecturer and subject educational research. Let me introduce myself. My name is Desi Dwi Mas Julianti and I'm from Group 9. Today we are going to talk about descriptive statistic. Okay, for the first explanation will be explained by me. Now I want to talk about the differences between statistic and parameter. The major advantages of descriptive statistics is that they permit researchers to describe the information contained in many score with just a few indices such as the mean and median. When such indices are calculated for a sample drawn from population, they are called the statistic. And when they are calculated from the entire population, they are called the parameter, because most educational research involves data from the sample rather than the population. Now I want to talk about the differences between categorical data and the quantitative data. Okay, quantitative data is the obtained when the variable under study are measured in a scale that indicates how many of these variables present. Quantitative data are reported in the form of score. The higher score indicates that more variables are present than the lower score. For example, the temperature recorded each day during the month of September through December in Omaha in a given year. So, the variable is temperature. While the categorical data simply indicate the total number of objects, individual, or even a researcher find a particular category. Notice that what the researcher is looking for a frequency of a certain characteristic, objective, individual, or event. For example, the number of male and female students in the chemistry. The variable of this example is gender. There are three different types of score in educational research. The first is raw score, which is the initial score obtained. It may be the total number of the item an individual get correct or answer in a certain way on a test. The number of the time a certain behavior is taught, the rating given by a teacher, and so forth. For example, include the number of questions answered positively. On an attitude scale, the number of time or aggressive behavior is observed. A teacher rating on a self-esteem measure or the number of choice received on a sociogram. The second is derived score, are obtained by taking raw score and converting them into a more useful score on some type of standard basis. For example, RH and grade level equivalent, percently rank and standard score, and the last is standard provide another. That's mean of indicating how one individual compares to another individual in a group. They are particularly helpful in comparing an individual relative achievement on different types of instrument. Many different systems of standard score exist, but two most commonly used and reported in educational research are Z score and T score. Next is about the technique for summarizing data. The first is frequency polygon. A frequency polygon is a graphic display of a frequency distribution. It is a graphic way to summarize a quantitative data for one variable. Next, skewed polygon. A graphic distribution of score in which only a few individual receive high score is called a positively skewed polygon. One in which only a few individual receive low score is called a negatively skewed polygon. Next, histogram and stem left plots. A histogram is a bar graph used to display quantitative data at the interval or ratio level of measurement, while a stem left plot is similar to histogram, except it lists specific values instead of bar. Next, the normal distribution. The normal distribution is the theoretical distribution that is symmetrical and in which a large proportion of the score are concentrated in the middle. A distribution curve is a smooth out frequency polygon. And the last, we'll talk about the distribution curve. The distribution curve of a normal distribution is called a normal curve. It's bell-shaped and its mean, median, mean, and mode of are identical. Okay, I think that's all for me. And next, continue with the next presentation is Devista.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, my name is Devista Arif Purnama. I will continue this explanation. I will explain about averages. So, first, I will explain to you about what is the purposes of averages. First, the purpose is to a measures of central tendency, and the second, enable a researcher to summarize the data in frequency distribution within a single numbers. There are three commonly used averages. First is mode. What is a mode? So mode is the score attained by more students than any other score. So for the explanation, look at this example. So there are some distribution. There are score 25, 20, 19, 17, 16, 16, 16, 14, 14, 11, 10, 9, 9. So what is mode of this distribution? So the mode is 16. Why? Because 16 is attained by more students than any other score. So there are triple 16. Okay. The second averages is median. Median is the point below and above with a 50% of the score in a distribution fall in a sort. So the median, it means that the midpoint of the score. For example, there are the distribution 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So the midpoint of that, the distribution, so the midpoint, the median is 3. Okay, next is the last averages is mean. So mean, it is determined by adding up all of the scores and then dividing the sum by the total number of score. So look at this example. The distribution are 52, 68, 74, 86, 95, and 110. So which one the mean? So we can adding up all of their scores. So 52 at 68 at 74 and 86 and 97, 95 and 8 at 105. So after that to equal 480. So dividing into a total number of scores. So there are 6 scores. So it means that 480 divided into 6. So the mean is 80. Okay. So the next, it's about when the distribution is skewed. So both the variable variability and the general shape of the distribution can be described and reported by percentile. So what is percentile? Percentile is a set of numbers is a value below which a certain percentage of the number fall and above which the rest of the number fall. So for the detail, look at this example. There are 20 students score 75, 77, 78, 78, 80, 81, 81, 82, 83, 84, 84, 84, 85, 87, 87, 88, 88, 88, 89, and 90. So, and to equal 20 divided into 100 and multiplication 20. So the student is 20 and then the total of score is 20. So to equal 4. So the percentile is 4. So the 4 of the student score is 78. So the percentile is 78. Next, it's about spreads. So if the two distribution may have identical means and medians. For example, there are two distribution A and B. So which one a mean and then which one a median? So as we know, mean is determined by adding up all of the score and dividing into a total number of score. So the distribution 19 at 20, at 25, at 32, at 39, at 2, at 3, at 25, at 30, and at 75, and divided into 10, so it becomes 27. And about median it means then the midpoint, so midpoint is 25. The next, it's about the range. So the overall range represents the distance between the highest and the lowest score in a distribution. For example, if the highest is 89 and the lowest is 11, so the range would be 89 minus 11, so it becomes to equal 78. Next, it's about the standard deviation. Standard deviation is most useful index of variability. It is a single number that represents the spread of distribution. So as with a mean, every score in the distribution is used to calculate it. So look at this example, there are the formula. Okay, standard deviation sama dengan sigma x min x quadrat divided into n. Look at the example of the table 10.6. So the sigma is 3640 divided into 10. 10 is the total number score of the table, and then so to equal 364. So akar dari root of 364 is 19.8. Okay. The last, it's about z-score. What is z-score? Z-score can be placed on a normal distribution curve. Z-score range from -3 and then up to at 3 standard deviation. So in order to use a z-score, you need to know the mean and also the population standard deviation. So look at this example. For example, test score of 190, and then the mean is 150, and then the standard deviation is 25. So z-score x minus mean, that's the symbol of mean, and divided deviation. So 190 minus 150 divided 25, so to equal 1.6. so the z-score is 1.6. So that's all my explanation. Thank you. So the next presenter will be presented by Dina Resa Jessica.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dinarisa Jessica and I will continue the presentation. So the next material is about the standard score and a normal curve. So standard score, or usually called as a z-score, it is a raw score expressed in a standard deviation units. Next is normal curve. So what is normal curve? Normal curve is symmetrical on both sides of the mean, and so the right side of the center is the mirror image of the left side. What does the z-score tell us? So z-score is describe the locations of the raw score in terms of distance from the mean. Mean in here is nilai tengah, and measure in standard deviation. And then the z-score is give us information about location of terms score relative to the average deviation of all scores. And then the z-score is used to comparing score from different distributions, and the second one is to describing individual score, and the last one is describing sample mean. Okay, let's look at this example. So this is the formula for z-score, where the x means x per s equal s per s. So x here is any raw score, and s is mean and standard deviation. This is the example for using z-score to compare two raw score from different distribution. So this is how we calculate z-score. What is the z-score for your test is raw score 80 and mean 75 and s is 5. So 80 minus 75 is 5 dibagi 5. So the z-score is 1. And then what is the z-score of your friend's test is raw score 80 and mean 75, s is 10. So 80 minus 75 is 5, and then dibagi 10, so the result is 0.5. Next we have scatter plot. So what is scatter plot? So scatter plot is a graphic way to show the relationship between two or more categorical variables.
Jadi, scatter plot adalah sebuah grafik yang biasa digunakan untuk melihat suatu pola hubungan antara dua variabel. Berikut adalah contoh scatter plot, bisa dilihat seperti gambar. Jadi gambar 1 adalah scatter plot antara presentasi kepemilikan mobil pada suatu kota di Amerika dengan pendapatan rumah tangga. Gambar 1 ini menunjukkan bahwa peningkatan presentasi kepemilikan mobil juga diikuti oleh pendapatan rumah tangga. Ini adalah contoh keeratan hubungan or the correlations. So, scatter plot membentuk pola yang menyerupai garis lurus seperti pada gambar. Ini mengindikasikan bahwa ada hubungan yang erat antara variabel 1 dan variabel 2. Hubungan yang membentuk garis lurus biasa disebut dengan hubungan linier, dan hubungan linier ini bisa membentuk hubungan yang positif dan negatif. Contoh hubungan yang positif bisa dilihat dari gambar contoh grafik yang ini. Jika plot yang terjadi seperti pada gambar di atas, maka variabel 1 dan variabel 2 menunjukkan hubungan yang positif. Peningkatan yang terjadi pada variabel 1 juga diikuti peningkatan pada variabel 2. Bahasa mudahnya yaitu kalau naik dia naik semua, dan kalau turun dia turun semua. Dan ini adalah contoh hubungan negatif, yaitu jika plot yang terjadi seperti gambar, maka variabel 1 dan variabel 2 menunjukkan hubungan yang negatif. Peningkatan yang terjadi pada variabel 1 diikuti penurunan oleh variabel 2. Dan jika variabel 1 mengalami penurunan, maka variabel 2 akan mengalami peningkatan. Bahasa mudahnya yaitu kalau satunya naik, yang satu turun. Atau kalau satunya turun, maka satunya naik. Kalau scatter plot yang ini menunjukkan hubungan yang rendah. Jika plotnya menyebar seperti pada gambar di atas, maka bisa disimpulkan bahwa hubungan antara variabel 1 dengan variabel 2 sangatlah kecil atau tidak ada hubungan. Ini adalah contoh hubungan nonlinear. Scatter plot juga bisa digunakan untuk melihat penyebaran data, apakah data menyebar ataukah mengumpul di suatu area.
And here we have the technique for summarizing categorical data. The first one is bar graphs, or it is a chart that plots data using columns that represent the total amount of observation in the data for that category. And the second one is we have a pie chart or a pie graph. So this is a circle statistical graphical chart which is divided into slices in order to explain or illustrate the numerical proportions. Okay, I think that's all from our group. Thank you for your great attention, and I'm sorry if there are many mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.